Yaeger, and my name is on the product, so it's Yaeger CPA Review. And in March of last year, when the pandemic started, we realized that people were getting discouraged, right? They needed some motivation to study for the exam. So Ron and I started doing these virtual CPA Review live classes every Sunday for 2 hours. And we really did it gratis. And we did that for quite a few months. And then the people said they liked it. So we started, charging for this. And I think we decided it was a pretty nominal amount. And we hope it's considered nominal. But there are still costs involved. But I think you're going to find when it comes to a live course, all right, really, there are no live CPA review courses. All right. There is one company, the largest one, who claim they have live classes. And yes, there's a live person there, and all he does is read off a PowerPoint presentation. And people have told me, all right, the person could put you to sleep because if you have a question, he can't answer any question other than what's put up on the PowerPoint. All right. Now you're going to find that we actually interact with you. All right. We're using Zoom meeting. All right. And with Zoom meeting, all right, usually what we ask the people to do is we ask them, all right, leave your microphone on unless there's something going on in the room. And if you have any question, just shout it out. All right. And that's the way we make it truly interactive. All right. This is an interactive live virtual. All right. We're in real time. All right. And below, if you look at this, this is the schedule of the BEC review sessions. Now, the reason we're doing this, and the BEC is emphasized, is that July 1st, 2021, all right, they're changing basically the BEC part and also the auditing, right? So, all right, we suggest try to do, right? Try to do BEC and maybe auditing July 1st, 2021, right? Is anybody using the mail board there? Would they have a file? You want to get out of the room? All right, but anyway, what is that noise? Anybody know?
Somebody needs to mute, I think.
All right, someone, if you have to talk to someone, please mute it. Be considerate of the people next to you. And by the way, the advantage of this is, all right, we have a short drive from anybody's house. All right.
Yes, exactly.
You can find that with any course, I'll tell you that. All right. But honestly, all right, Ron Premuroso is the CPA review. How many years, Ron? 3 years?
I'm with you 3 years.
Oh, no, but I'm saying, how long have you been teaching CPA review, Ron?
Oh, so, yeah, for you, 3 years, Phil.
3 years.
As of next month.
And Ron is I'd say he's the most knowledgeable person on BEC and also in auditing. All right. Now, will they get a copy of this 1 hour? I don't know how we're doing that.
Yeah, I think what we're going to do is either send them the recording of the video or we're going to post it on our website for access when they want to access, one or the other. Okay.
So basically, tell your friends and neighbors, wake the kids and tell them that Yaeger has a virtual CPA review course, all right, where we actually are going to teach you the material and we're going to show you parts of our books. Is that correct? All right. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, the pandemic is still on. All right. And is someone here trying to break out of prison? Again. All right. But anyway.
It sounds like it, right, Phil?
All right. This is not
in somebody's pocket, probably.
Who is watching Escape from Alcatraz? Anybody out there? All right. But please remember, all right, that we are here to help you. We want to give you an idea of what is changing within the hour. And the other thing we want you to know is the class on Saturday, March 20th, all right, from 12 to 2 p.m. Eastern time, all right, is going to be offered to you at no cost. So we want you to come to the first class at no cost, all right? My suggestion would be you need a link to get into that. And I would say to you, the way you got the link to this, all right, how is that? Through Sunny?
Yep.
All right. If you will call Sunny, I don't know what, Sunny, are you there?
I am here, Ron.
Uh,
So they can email me,
All right, what's your email, Sonny?
Sonny@YaegerCPAReview.com.
Yep,
All right, did everyone get that?
yep.
Okay, if you didn't, just, you can call me. My phone number in Maryland is 301-874-4900. 301-874-4900, extension 5. All right, and you can reach me 7 days a week. All right, that may be a shock to your system, but that is true. That is true.
Right,
All right,
exactly.
so anyway,
And last night he took calls all night long.
I took calls.
Class ended at 9, call at 12.
No problem. I said to myself,
Phil, the reason we're offering that first session to you all for free, which is March 20th, right, 12 to 2 p.m., is for you to then decide, is it worth it, right, to spend most of your next 5 or 6 weekends with us, right? 2 hours on Saturday, 2 hours on Sunday, because Phil, by the end of May, right, by May 1st and May 2nd, we will have covered, Phil, live every part of the BEC exam, including the practice BEC exam on the AICPA website, and Ron's secret, very secret hard drive, which contains lots of additional practice questions and sims. Okay, so Phil, our goal is to get these people ready, right, to take BEC before the exam changes on June 30th. Okay, just like we did for auditing, right, Phil?
Right.
In January and February, we did live sessions. We covered the entire auditing exam before it changes on July 1. By the way, we're going to post those videos for sale on our website pretty soon. And we had a lot of people there, including some people on this call like Robin and Lasandra. They were there for the auditing sessions. And they're also a good reference for how good these sessions can be to help you pass these exams, okay, before they change on July 1.
good idea. And I just want to say one thing, and I'll turn it over to you, Ron. First of all, in this business, it's all like, being with the Central Intelligence Agency. And I do want to welcome our competitors who are watching this today. And by the way, I've seen some of your videos, and I have to say, I'd be ashamed to be part of those. All right. Nothing personal. All right. But some of you people, give me a call. You could be the cure for insomnia. All right. So anyway, I want to welcome our competitors. Everyone listens to competitors, whatever. Okay. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, seriously, good luck on the exam. All right. And this gentleman here will help you, and he'll get you through this BEC. Just listen to him. Okay. Take care, everyone. Stay safe. Appreciate your attending. All right.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Take care.
Okay.
Ron,
hold
it's all
on,
yours.
everybody.
I'm
Yeah.
saying goodbye. Bye. Bye.
Bye, Phil. Have a good day. Enjoy.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, everybody. So the purpose of this session really is from your perspectives, right? To ask me questions that you have about the exam. I'm going to show you, let's see here. First thing I'm going to put on the screen is the current blueprints, right, for the BEC exam, which are effective until July 1, 2021. Okay, so these blueprints are the ones still effective right now until July 1 coming up in a couple of months from now. Okay, so if you're studying for BEC or if you have been studying for BEC, you should be studying these blueprints. Okay, and the exam is broken down into 5 sections. Okay, section 1 there, if you can see it on my screen. Let me see if I can get a bigger one. Here we go. So section 1 is corporate governance. And if you've been studying for auditing, there's a lot of common materials in there for auditing that are also tested here on BEC for corporate governance. Second area is economic concepts and analysis. Third section is financial management. So that's economics and finance. Fourth section is information technology. And area 5 is operations management, which includes cost accounting, okay, process costing and standard costing, et cetera, okay? So those are the 5 sections of BEC. The good news about BEC is it has the highest pass rate if you look back historically on the exam, okay? The bad news I see for BEC is these topics are very diverse topics. So it depends, when did you have your last exposure to those topics, either in practice or in school, okay? And I get a lot of questions about cost accounting for example, from the candidates that are working with us at Yaeger. They need help with process costing, standard costing, job costing, et cetera, okay? The other good news about BEC is the ratios that you've been studying for FAR or have studied for FAR or are studying for FAR or for auditing also repeat themselves in BEC, okay? So, you know, BEC is eminently passable is what I'm trying to tell you, okay? Where I see people having trouble is, for those of you who have started looking at BEC or have taken BEC, there are 3 written communication simulation questions in BEC, where basically they give you a scenario or some type of situation, and you have to write a memo or write something related to a topic. And we have found that a lot of people struggle with not only the writing portion of those simulations, but also setting them up correctly, okay? So if you take our course, we're gonna go through that with you. That's 15% of the BEC exam are the 3 simulation questions, and 2 of the 3 count towards your grade, okay? So, you know, that's another important thing to keep in mind with BEC. It's the only part of the exam that has where you have to do a memo basically to your boss or to a CEO or whatever. And we have spent a lot of time in our materials, and also I have a lot of materials I help candidates with to help them go into those written communication questions with confidence, okay? That they're going to do well on it, a lot of tricks, et cetera. And actually on those written communication questions, it's not so much what you put in there being correct, it's what you put in there that is spelled right, organized right, has an introduction, has a conclusion, and in the middle has a variety of scenarios, okay? And of course, you know, there is spell check that you can use to check for that, but it doesn't check for commas and conjunctions and stuff like this. So you got to be careful with stuff like that. So I just want to mention that on the written communication, because we have seen a number of candidates, they pass FAR and then they get to BEC, and we eventually figure out that, you know, the written communication questions, among other things, are, you know, a challenge for them to get through the exam. Now, when you're studying for a BEC, my best advice to you is, when you look at these 5 topics, you need to go to the blueprints, okay? And let me just pull up the blueprints. Hold on. You need to pull up the blueprints. Which are right here. They're available on the AICPA website, okay? And you need to go through each section of the blueprints. And I always tell this to every candidate, and look at yourself in the mirror and say, if I got a simulation question on this topic, okay, especially where it says application. You see here the columns, the BEC exam, they test you on remembering and understanding, they test you on application, and they test you on analysis. If I was to get a question, for example, here on COSO, okay? And it was a simulation question which lists a bunch of risks, okay, that a company faces that could be related to fraudulent financial reporting or misappropriation of assets and illegal acts. Could I answer that question and apply the COSO framework to those scenarios? Okay. If you can't, you've got to now then dig deeper. If you have our materials, we go through the COSO framework in great detail, each one of the 5 components of the COSO framework. And you go through that, and that becomes your basis, right, for making sure that you can answer all of these questions related to COSO, okay? If you're not using the blueprints to study for BEC, it's going to make it much more difficult for you to pass BEC. Or you could be studying materials that are not really even tested, okay? So I recommend you go through each area of the blueprints, right? Corporate governance is this one. Economic concepts and analysis is this one. And you can see there's great detail here of what the expectation is that you must be prepared for when you take the exam. Will you get a question on every one of these? No. The pool is 4,000 questions that the AICPA has for each part of the exam. 4,000, okay? Is it possible you don't get one question on any of these topics, which I'm scrolling around on this page? Yes, okay? Is it possible you don't get any cost accounting questions? Yes. Is it possible you get 2 cost accounting simulations? Yes. Anything is possible, right? It's a random draw, right? It's like going to Vegas, right? And gambling. You don't know really what you're going to get. So don't gamble when you're studying for BEC or any part of the exam. Make sure you know the blueprints, okay? So the first 2 pages there, I don't think section 1, corporate governance, is so difficult, especially if you've passed or are studying for auditing, or you've worked in auditing in the past, or you're working for a company with some type of governance related responsibilities, okay? I think most people do well that are studying for the CPA exam on corporate governance, and it's 17 to 27% of the exam. Economic concepts and analysis, now that's different, okay? If you haven't had a finance course in a while, and you haven't had an economics course in a while, and this one has the same weight, right, as area 1, this is an area you need to spend time on, okay? Because they could load you up with multiple choice questions or, again, simulations, okay? There's nothing in here that is earth shattering, in my opinion. It's only 2 pages, as you can see here, okay? And by the way, you can see here ratios, right, where I'm pointing on the screen. Calculate and use ratios to measure and quantify risks. The experience I have seen on BEC is they give you the ratios, what the numerator is and what the denominator is, except for what I call the bread and butter ratios, right? Current ratio, working capital, okay? But for anything complicated, if it's in a simulation question, you will have an exhibit which will show you how to calculate the ratio, what the numerator is and what the denominator is. So don't worry about memorizing 50 ratios, okay? The other ratios I just mentioned, I'm sure you all know them, okay? Here's a good question from this section. Identify strategies to mitigate financial risks, okay? That's a perfect written communication type simulation question on the exam that you should be prepared for, okay? You know, for example, right now, as you may know, the US economy is starting to recover. Interest rate risk is starting to increase, right? The interest rate on US Treasury bonds is increasing. So now interest rate risk is rising, okay? It may also affect the value of the dollar. So there's currency risk and also therefore liquidity risk, right? For companies, because if their debt they have right now is fixed to the prime rate of interest or to US Treasury bonds, they face a risk, right, of increased interest expense on borrowings in the future. Perfect simulation topic that you should be prepared for. Area 3 continues that with financial management, okay? Cost of capital, inventory management. Again, perfect topic for a simulation question. Accounts payable management techniques, banking arrangements, difference between business risks and opportunities, working capital impacts, okay? A lot of this should be familiar to you, common sense. Compare the options in a lease versus buy scenario. That could be a simulation question, or you may not get any questions on lease versus buy, okay? But then if you've studied for FAR, you should be familiar with the accounting portion of lease versus buy to make sure you can answer questions like this. Capital asset pricing model, Black-Scholes model. Again, you don't need to memorize these models, but you need to understand them, okay? What do they mean? What are they used for? Dividend discount model, same thing. Area 4, IT. So again, remember this exam is very diverse, right? Testing a lot of different skills and abilities up to a senior level of an accountant or an auditor or a tax person. So on IT, a lot of it's going to be IT governance and controls, okay? Change controls, implementation controls, etc. By the way, this part is going to change significantly in July. They're upping the game and the amount of knowledge required to have IT starting in July. Okay, so again, go through all of these, right? Security, processing integrity, application controls, general IT controls. Last section is operation management. And again, this is mainly cost accounting, okay? Cost accounting concepts, measurements, variable and mixed costs, right? From your wonderful cost accounting course when you were in school. Different costing methods, absorption and variable costing, job order costing, process costing, standard costing, okay?
Hi, I'm sorry.
Commonly
Can someone
used.
mute their phone?
Yes, can somebody mute? Yeah, please. And also budgeting, right? You remember that from your cost course. They could give you a pro forma budget to prepare based on exhibits and information, forecasting, etc. Okay, so that's a quick, very quick overview of BEC. And again, I want to show you for the review coming up what my strategy is as I go through the exam. That's not what I wanted. Hold on. Well, this one's good enough. So the first weekend in March 20th weekend, I will cover BEC Section 1, which is on corporate governance. And we go through during that session internal control frameworks, right? COSO, enterprise risk management, and other frameworks. The following weekend, March 27th, I will go through BEC Section 2, which was the economics section. Business cycles, economics, market indicators, influences on business, and risk management. We take the Easter weekend off so you can spend that with your families. Then we come back after Easter and we go through the financial management sections, capital structure, working capital, methods and models related to valuation. And then the 17th weekend, we go through IT and all the topics related to IT. And then the 24th, we finish the blueprint sections of BEC on operations management with cost accounting, process management, planning management, et cetera. And then the last weekend, which is the first weekend in May, I will spend almost 4 hours on going through the AICPA BEC practice exam and other SIMS and multiple choice questions, which I have gathered over the years or we have received from the AICPA, so that you can see, again, your final evaluation of where your strengths and weaknesses are before you take BEC. Okay, so with that as a background, you know, the main purpose of this session is questions, okay? We want to answer any questions you have about BEC, the BEC exam, the CPA exam in general. We could stray off to that, but since we advertised it as BEC, I'd like to stay on BEC. What questions or comments or, you know, matters that are bothering you related to the BEC exam? And then you can unmute yourself and you can ask the question directly. That's the best way, rather than typing in your question. So
I have a
please.
question.
Sure.
Okay, this is Karen.
Hi, Karen.
Hi. I just recently took the BEC exam and I got my results back. Unfortunately, I did not pass. I only missed it by 5 points. And I know, me personally, I really struggle with the writing piece of it.
Okay.
I get to the, I'm real good about timing myself so that I give myself at least an hour for the writing part. So that way it's
Okay.
like 20 minutes per simulation or
Yeah,
per
that's
writing.
good. That's smart. That's smart. Yep.
But, and I don't know if it's because I'm a perfectionist, but I get to a piece where I write one memo really well, but then I run out of time to be able to write the other two. So I guess I want some advice on how I can do, because from what you said in the beginning, it's not so much about the content as it is that it looks good.
Yes, that it's organized well, it looks good, it's spelled right. You know, we had a candidate recently who passed FAR twice, but it took her 7 tries to pass BEC.
I feel that way as well.
Yes, and we figured it out finally that for her, it was the writing assignments. That was the problem, okay? So we helped her. We got her a psychologist, actually, okay, to get her over the drama of what you just described, okay? And also, I have a bunch of stuff in my hard drive where we have direct feedback from the people who write the exam at the AICPA. Plus, I have a number of examples in my hard drive of questions, and then separate from them, you know, answers for you to study to sort of get an idea of the layout and the content and how to approach it. But your time management, Karen, as you just said, is very important, okay? There's nothing wrong with 20 minutes on each one, but you cannot go over 20 minutes on the first one, because then the pressure builds, right, for the second and the third one, okay?
Yes.
At 20 minutes, you got to stop, okay? It doesn't have to be perfect. Do spell check, make sure it's organized right. You've addressed the memo to somebody, you know, that they've referred to in the question that they give you, or the theoretical. You know, you sign it at the end, you have it in separate paragraphs, you don't have any crazy spelling errors, and you will do well, okay? But I have heard your story from many candidates. You know, I want it to be perfect. Every comma in the right place, every conjunction, no contractions, stuff like that. That's not going to help you pass the exam, okay? The spelling part hurts you. You got to be careful there, okay? So make sure you use the spelling part. But if you were to come to us later, maybe after the webinar, or email me, I can send you my little study stuff I have on written communication, and perhaps, Karen, that can help you.
Oh, that would be awesome. I would greatly appreciate it.
It's a lot of files, okay? So don't get angry, okay?
No. Oh, I'm good for it. I'm good with it.
No, if you're within 5 points of passing BEC, there's no doubt you can pass BEC. This lady got in the 70s, 70, 71, 69, 68, 73, 6, 7 times, okay? And then she did very well the last time. So now she's a CPA.
Awesome.
Yeah. Good question. And you made my written communication discussion look pretty good there. I appreciate it. Thank you. Another question, please.
Hi,
Hi, who's this?
this is Constantine.
Hi, Constantine. How are you? I recognize your name, I think.
Yeah, I'm just a student, and then I was listening, and then my question is tilted to the various sections, do you need to follow a particular order before you get the, like you follow section 1, 2, 3, or you need to like, even you can get to this other section before the other one?
Okay, so if you're studying for BEC the first time, you should just go to sections 1 through 5 in order, okay?
Okay,
And if you're using our materials, when you finish section 1, you should then do all the multiple choice in the back of section 1, right? Figure out what your grade is. And then for the ones you missed, is it certain specific topics that you didn't get right or you didn't understand? Go back and review them and make sure you understand why you picked the wrong answer. That's the key, okay? It's not a matter of whether you got it right or wrong. Of course, if you got it right, that's excellent. But when you get them wrong, why did you get it wrong? Why did you pick the answer you picked? You need to understand that, because I can tell you, when you take BEC, you're going to get similar questions with similar answers that are possibilities, and you'll be able to root them out or get it down to 2. So I would just study it in order, okay? 1 through 5. And again, looking at the blueprints to make sure, as you're studying each section, to make sure that you're feeling confident that you understand the requirements in the blueprint, okay?
all right. And then, sorry, do you, okay, like 5, do you need like, can one section help you to pass the other section? Like, for instance, not only BC now, BEC, the
Okay.
5 part.
Yeah.
If you study 5, does it help you to succeed in the BEC?
We recommend the order of taking either FAR or auditing first. Then if you take FAR first, take auditing, and then take BEC, because there are materials in auditing and FAR that are tested in BEC. Okay,
All
so
right.
we don't recommend. Now, you can also start with BEC if you feel confident. You know, you were a minor in finance or economics, and you look at the materials and you say to yourself, you know, I know this stuff. Okay, I can pass this with no problem. Then sure, take BEC first. Okay, but for the normal candidate, starting with FAR or auditing is the place to start. Then do the other one, and then move to BEC. Because like I said here earlier, the ratios, the governance, the internal controls, the IT is
Mhm.
very repetitive, right? Especially in auditing and BEC.
Okay, thank you very much.
Pleasure. Somebody else?
To piggyback off of his question.
Sure.
So
Who's
since
this?
this is Karen again, I apologize.
No, no problem.
So if you, when you get your results, and let's say, because I did make a 70, if there's a specific area that I know that I'm weak in, before I retest, should I just drill down on that area? I mean, continue to review the other stuff because I know it needs to be reviewed to make sure it's still fresh in my mind. But should I just drill down on that section that I know for certain? Because I know operations management is extremely hard for me because I really don't get the concept of cost accounting.
Yes. So on what basis are you determining where you're weak?
I usually, after we get our results, and then the state kind of sends us a little
Report?
yes, yes.
Okay, let me tell you about that report,
Okay.
okay? I would not risk my life on that report, okay?
Okay,
Because that report is gauging your performance on that day when you took the exam for each part, for every candidate that passed the exam between, and they got a score, I think, of 80 to 90 or 80 to 95, okay?
Okay.
So you have to remember that every day when they give the exam, it's completely different, right?
right.
The questions are different, the contents are different. You know, tomorrow someone might take BEC and have no cost accounting questions. The student taking it, the candidate that's taking it the next day may have 2 simulation questions on cost accounting. Does that mean because you were on the first day and there were no questions that you were weak there? It means nothing. right?
Okay,
So more important is what you said that I'm at the end of that question was, I know I'm weak in cost accounting. Okay, then go back and study cost accounting. Okay, you're right, because Murphy's Law says what's going to happen. You're going to get a simulation question, right?
Right.
On one of those topics, okay,
Right.
job costing or whatever it might be. And you want to be able to nail it, because to be honest, if there is a question on cost accounting, most of the times it's pretty straightforward if you know it, okay? If you don't know it, you're in big trouble.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
so yeah,
okay, thank you.
pleasure. More questions, please. This is your time to ask. Any question. There's no dumb questions. It's nice to see you, Robin and Lasanda.
Oh, I have a quick question. My name is Ingers.
Angers. Hi, Angers.
Hey,
We've
Ron, how
talked
you
by
doing?
phone. Yeah, nice to talk to you.
Likewise. I, as I mentioned to you in the background, and that's the same thing to Phil and staff. The same thing happened to me, just like Karen. I took BEC and I did fail, and I
Yep.
was taking a different prep course, and I didn't, and I felt, it didn't give me like the organization part that kind of like the Yaeger system is.
Yep.
For a new candidate like myself looking into this prep course, I think the other gentleman mentioned something about along those lines. What's the most efficient way for me to use this system? So this way I can put in, like a good 2, 3, 4 hours a day,
Yep.
study. So this way I can feel like, fully prepared for the next time I take this.
Yeah. Well, again, as I mentioned to Constantine, I would start right at the beginning, right? You go through our written materials first, okay? And you go through the written materials in our book. Then you go through the multiple choice questions at the end of each content section, see how you do, right? And while you're studying, you have the blueprints for content section 1 there at the same time. And you just methodically go through it. And as far as number of hours, I'm surprised no one's asked me about number of hours. I think personally, if I was going to study now for BEC, I would spend probably 25 to 30 hours studying for each section, including doing the multiple choice at the end of each section for BEC. So 25 to 30 hours, right? 5 sections, you're talking about 150 hours, okay? So the other thing is to structure your studying, and also you have to be disciplined, okay? And you got to tell your family, your girlfriend, your wives, your kids, listen, I'm going to be a little bit taken up for a while here, okay? Life's not going to be so wonderful, but I want to pass this exam. And in order to pass it, I've got to spend this amount of time to get it done, okay? So that's the way I suggest you do it. Just very methodically, right? It's a book. You go through the book from beginning to end, and you get to the end and you take our cram test at the end. Then you go to the AICPA practice exam for BEC. And if you're with us and you're joining my sessions coming up, I'm going to share even more materials with you. And then you should be as prepared as you can be, for the exam. And a lot of times, Angers, I'll finish by saying, sometimes it's luck, right? What you get on the exam, topic wise. Okay. I had a guy recently, he got in the 50s twice on FAR. He was really discouraged and about ready to lose his auditing credit. Well, I gave him a study plan. I gave him 20 topics to study hard for FAR, and he just passed last week and got above 75, went from 50s to the 70s.
That's awesome.
Okay. And yeah, well, but also he was lucky because those 20 topics I sent him, more than half of them, fortunately, showed up on the exam in simulations, consolidations, lease accounting. It was all there, and he was prepared. So, sometimes you need some luck, right, to pass this exam, is what I'm trying to say. It's not only hard work, but you need to get simulation questions you can answer, and don't get discouraged by one you can't answer, for example.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Question, you said 25 to 30, is that per week or?
Well, you can
like-
spread the hours however you want, right? I mean, it's up to the time you have available, right? I'm just saying to thoroughly study a content section, going through the materials, going through the multiple choice questions, going through the blueprints, you'll need 25 to 30. Now, there are some sections you may need a little less than that because you're familiar with it, like section 1. But there are other sections like section 5 with cost accounting where 25 to 30 is not going to be enough, right? It could be 40 or 50 hours you may need because of your cost accounting skills are not what they need to be to take the exam. So you can spread it out as, you know, as long as you want, but say it's 25 hours a week. What is that? 3 hours a day, roughly, or 4 hours a day, right? You got to take a day off too. We always recommend that. So if you can squeeze 4 hours in, I know when I studied, I came home from work at night and I studied from 7 to 10, 7 to 11 every night. That was my approach.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Yep.
Hey, Ron,
Yes.
this is Bashir. Can you
Hi.
can you please mention the changes that are coming up July 1st in BEC?
So the major changes are in the IT section of the exam, and they've eliminated some stuff and they've added more on IT and IT controls. They unfortunately have not eliminated the written communication requirement and those particular questions. So you could read about it. It's available on the website. I'm just in process right now of updating our materials, and we'll have them available, of course, before end of June. But there, you know, as usual, there's more materials you're going to have to study, mainly in IT and in the control area. Some stuff has been eliminated, but in general, I think there's more materials you have to know.
I have a question.
Sure.
Yeah, my name is Christo.
Hi, Crystal.
Uh,
Yes.
Hi, nice to meet you. I don't know how people study on exams, but I graduated accounting and finance, but I'm not familiar with the regulation in auditing,
Yep.
ID, whatever, any terms not related to me, and I'm just intensively read 4 books, but I don't know which section I have to start to take an exam.
So have you taken any parts of the exam yet?
No, not at all. I try to familiarize with myself all 4 exams.
All right. So you were a finance major, right?
Yeah,
So you can either dip your toes, Crystal, into taking the exam parts by starting with BEC, because that's going to have the most topics
okay,
related to your major. And when you pass it, and if you pass it first time or second time, then you'll have the momentum, right, to move on to the other parts. And I would recommend in your case, FAR.
Yeah.
Yes, because it is the hardest part, it is the longest part, the toughest, the most material. And once you've passed BEC and FAR, auditing and reg should be very easy for you, okay? So FAR definitely is the hardest part of the exam, for sure.
Okay. All right.
And,
Thank you.
you know, just to dip your toes into it, right? Why not start with a subject that you know, right? Which is
Yeah.
a lot of the BEC materials, and you'll get a taste in corporate governance section of BEC of what you need to know in auditing, and you'll get a taste of the accounting part in content section 5 with cost accounting. So, you know, I think that's a good way to get your toes into it and see if that's what you want to do.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Yep.
I had a very similar situation to the person before with the 50-50. Then I
Yep.
passed it, but then I lost my credit and lost my momentum. This
Yep.
is Robin.
Yep. Hey, Robin.
So
Yeah.
with
Yep.
with BEC and lost my red credit
Okay.
along
Yeah,
with
but
it. And
you
I was
can
trying
pass.
to do it before
Yeah.
they added the writing concept on BEC.
Yeah. Yeah, which we were hoping they would get rid of it in July, but they haven't. They decided to keep it, unfortunately.
Dang it. I
Yeah.
liked it when it was almost.
You were with me, Robin, right, on the auditing, right? The auditing reviews?
Yes,
Yeah, okay. You're taking auditing soon, right?
I'm hoping so.
Okay, good.
I'm still a little unfamiliar, uncomfortable with some of the material right now, so I'm
Okay,
going
all
through
right, yep,
everything again.
yep, take your
I
time.
finally got my name change issue resolved, so I
Okay,
can definitely at least sign up for them now.
okay, good.
So
More questions, please. I'm gonna bring up a, let's see if I can find it. Hold on one second. I got a message from somebody. They want me to talk a little bit more about, let's see here. About the BEC, so the written communication. Let me see if I can pull up an example. Here we go. Here's an example. BEC written communication question. I'll quickly go through it. The board of directors of Yaeger, okay, I plagiarized, right, a little bit, is currently reviewing options to increase production in order to meet growing demand, but is hesitant to increase its operating leverage. Okay, so you need to understand what operating leverage is, right? Which is how much money should we borrow, or can we borrow, or should we borrow, right? Because we need to increase production. The two options being reviewed are expanding production capacity by acquiring new equipment and or outsourcing the existing production to another firm. The acquisition of new assets would require additional financing. Write a memo to the board explaining the effect each option would have on the company's operating leverage. Okay? Very typical BEC simulation written communication question. Okay, now very quickly, how would I go about answering this question? Well, first of all, by the way, do not copy and paste this into your response. Okay, it takes points away if you do that. Okay, I would start this with an introductory paragraph that says something like, dear, to the board of directors from Ron Premuroso, I have been asked to explain for the following scenario what the impact would be on the company's operating leverage of either expanding production internally by buying new equipment or outsourcing production to another firm. All right. Second paragraph. With regards to outsourcing production to another firm, the advantages are A, we do not have to acquire new fixed assets. B, it would have little, if any, effect on our operating leverage. In other words, we would not have to borrow additional money. The negatives or the drawbacks of outsourcing production to another firm is we may have to be concerned about quality more than we would be able to control it internally. And by outsourcing production to another firm, we may have to worry about patent infringements and these type of things, depending on who we outsource the production to. Okay. With regards to acquiring the fixed assets and doing it internally, the advantages are we control the production design and quality internally. You know, we can also use that as a marketing tool to market the fact that we're doing the production internally to our customers. The negative is we have to borrow more money. If we borrow more money, we have to pay more interest. And we also have to be careful we don't violate our bank covenant agreements on, for example, debt to equity ratio, et cetera. Those are the negatives, okay? So then the last paragraph would say, you know, either option is definitely viable in this situation for the company. the decision will be related to both business strategy and also the amount of operating leverage the company is willing to take. So if you can write that down, what I just said in less than 20 minutes, right, in a coherent way, you can see right here, your response will be graded for technical content. You heard a lot of that, right, in my stuff, but not an overwhelming amount, and writing skills. Technical contents will be evaluated. They're looking for keywords intended for the intended audience, relevant to the issues. Writing skills will be evaluated for development. So remember, right, I had an introduction paragraph, middle paragraphs, concluding paragraph. That's what development means. Organization, introduction, middle, end, okay? And appropriate expression of ideas in professional correspondence, okay? Remember, this is a professional memo, right, to the board. So there's no room for casual language or whatever, okay? It has to be strictly business. Use an appropriate business format, just says it, right? Introduction, body, conclusion. Do not put the information in the form of a table, bullet point list, or other abbreviated presentation. I am warning you, do not do that, okay? If you do that, they'll take points away from your grading on your simulation. So what I'm trying to say here, right, is to make sure that you read the instructions for whatever that particular written communication question is. Hopefully that's helpful to some of you. Julia, does that help? I see that you left me a question in the chat. Does that help, Julia? Okay, additional questions, please.
Hi, Ron. It's LaShonda.
Hi, LaShonda.
Hey, I just want to go back to talking about the timing.
Yep.
It's going to be similar to what you said for auditing, 2 to 3 minutes per question.
Yep, correct. Yep. You mean on answering the questions? Okay, let's see.
Yes, sir.
Okay, hold on the blueprints. Let's pull up the blueprints again. So 4 hours is the exam, right? 62 multiple choice, 4 task-based simulations, 3 written communication questions, okay? 50% of the grade is on the multiple choice, 35% is on the task-based simulations, and the dreaded 15% on the written communication questions, okay? I'm looking for the timing. Hold on here. I thought it was in here. Yeah, it's roughly around, you know, again, it's 4 hours. So let me get to, oops. It's 4 hours. So, okay, here we go. So these written communication questions, the 3 of them, you have 1 hour. For these task-based simulations, I also believe you have 1 hour. And then there's 2 hours for here, right? So 62 questions, 120 minutes, right? 2 hours, 2 minutes, right? Per question. And Lysandra, just like the advice I gave you on auditing, you remember my advice on the multiple choice questions?
Yes. Eliminate what you can eliminate and choose the best answer.
And move on. Right? And if you're in a simulation, right, with 30 of the multiple choice there, you know, you can leave a few open as you go along if you want to come back and spend a little more time on them, but do not go over the time, right, on the multiple choice questions, okay? And there will be some multiple choice questions, Lysandra, right, that you know the answer right away. You'll gain time there, okay?
Yes, sir.
So answer them, get it done, and move on, okay?
Thank you.
If there's a BEC multiple choice question and you don't have the foggiest idea what the answer could be, you can't even get it down to 2. Just guess and go on, okay? Maybe that multiple choice question is what they call a trial question. That's not going to count toward your grade, okay? Don't count on that. And you don't want to say there's 10 trial questions in your simulation, okay? But there's a number of times, right, they put questions in there which they're just trying, okay, to see what the results are from a group of candidates. But, you know, do not lose your time there, okay? Because you want to make sure you have enough time for the simulations and the written communication questions, especially the written communication, if you feel like you're challenged there to get each one done within 20 minutes. Matter of fact, on the written communication, I also suggest when you open up that testlet, I believe you can see all three questions, okay? Maybe you quickly open it up, you find the question you're most familiar with and most conversant with, you go to that question, you answer it quickly and pick up some time that you're gonna need on the other two written communication questions, okay? You know, the exam's a lot about strategy. Exam taking strategy is very important. So I believe I'm right. You can see all three of them because you're in the same testlet. So open the three, find the one you know the best, attack it, get it done in 10 minutes or 12 minutes, 15 minutes, and you've now saved 10 minutes or 5 minutes for the other two written communication questions where you're going to have to spend more time. Good question.
Yes, Professor Constantine
Yes.
again.
Yes, Constantine.
Yes, you said in each section there is a bank of questions, like 400 questions.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to like, the question I'm trying to ask is, so do you, when you are taking each section, do you have your curve answer questions already set aside, or the questions will be system generated?
This is for the Yaeger materials.
Or any section, is it like you have a stated number of questions that you need to get, or all your questions are just system generated? For example, if I take the first question in multiple choice, I make it, then another question will be generated, or is it just a set that has been set for my
Yeah.
at that time?
Yeah, no, it is a set of questions that's been especially made for you, for sure. You're talking
Okay.
about the exam itself, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes. Oh, yeah, it's a unique set of questions that is unique to you, no doubt about it, okay? If there's a guy or a lady next to you in the booth taking the same exam at the same time, there will be no questions the same. They're all different, okay?
Okay.
For both candidates, yeah, they said it. And also generally, you should know, you do the first testlet on multiple choice. Depending on how you do, the next testlet, the questions will be either harder, the same, or less stringent, okay? So if the first testlet of questions were really hard and you don't do so well on them because they're grading it as you go along, your next set may be a little bit easier. But the opposite's also true. If you nail and do very well on the first group of multiple choice, they then adjust it for the second group and it'll be harder, okay? So,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
they have all kinds of algorithms, okay, that they use to do this exam. By the way, I am the person who will be doing the live BEC sessions. I didn't make that clear before. I did the auditing sessions in January and February. Robin and Lysandra were there for those. They can tell you about me. And but I will be doing the BEC live sessions. So I'm the person. We don't have
Okay.
anybody else that does them. I do them.
So, and then in your own place now, do you follow, because now you are in BEC, and then maybe fire has already taken place because that's the first section, which is the biggest. So when you go around before you come and start back at the fire, or how is the sequence?
Again, if you're starting from the beginning, we recommend you do FAR or auditing first.
Okay, 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 I see.
Now, FAR is very difficult, okay? But if you do it first, you will see that the other parts are not as hard, not as long. You know, it's 760 pages of our materials on FAR and 500 or less on the other sections of the exam, okay? So, but FAR is the hardest part. It has the lowest pass rate of the 4 parts. But once you get it done, what you've studied in there and passed, you will see it again in auditing, okay? In auditing, they will ask you to make adjustments according to some type of auditing procedure, and you have to know GAAP at the same time in order to answer those type of simulation questions in auditing. So we recommend FAR or auditing or FAR, then BEC, because a lot of the concepts in BEC I just reviewed with you are also tested, not all, but a number of them are tested in FAR and in auditing. And then we recommend REG last, not because we don't think REG is hard or easy, but it does have the highest pass rate, and candidates by then, you know, you've passed 3 parts, they seem to do very well in REG as their 4th part.
Okay, thank you.
Pleasure. More questions? So I see in the chat, dear Ron, please share all who will be there for the upcoming live sessions. For example, will you be there for all the sessions? Yes, I will be there for all the sessions. They will all be recorded. You need our BEC book, right, as we do the live sessions. They'll be recorded, and we will send you a copy of the recording after the sessions are done. So you can go back and review those live recorded BEC sessions, okay? And of course, we recommend that for the sections of the exam where you feel you have weaknesses, right? Where you need to study more. Yep, for sure.
Thank you, Ron. This is Pankaj. I put that question to you.
Good.
This is my first section, so I'm starting the CPA with BEC. I did had opportunity to attend some of your FAR sessions with Phil last year. I really liked those. So I'm really interested and looking forward to your sessions.
Great.
Do you recommend anything for me to like before your session? Should I read through the material? I already have the book and
Yeah, yeah, why not? And, we offered, by the way, for those of you who joined late, you can come to the first session. Let me just bring that up again for free.
Sure.
On March, let's see here, share screen. Do you see my screen?
Not yet.
Hold on. Oh, here we go. So we offered to everyone, because we understand you may not be sure if this is for you. Is this going to help you? Is it worth your time? And of course, your money. But on March 20th from 12 to 2, I start on the corporate governance part of the exam. And I would recommend you, if you have time between now and then, right? You got 3 weeks almost, right? Between now
Yep.
and the 20th of March. Why not read the materials? Then as I'm going through the materials, you'll have prepared questions, hopefully, or things you don't understand, or things you want to ask me about during these live sessions. And, we can get them answered, and it's going to be much more beneficial to you. Okay, so why not? I think you should.
Thank you.
Pleasure. So for those of you not sure, right, March 20th, 12 to 2 Eastern Standard Time, I will be talking the first part of content section 1 on corporate governance. I also go through multiple choice questions that are in our book related to corporate governance. We'll explain the right answers, we'll explain the wrong answers verbally, and you can use that as a trial session to see whether or not you think these sessions are good for you. The other option you have is, if you look at the 5 content sections, right, which one are you the weakest at? Maybe you should consider attending just the one section that you feel you're weak at or weakest at, okay? And again, I always find a lot of people find they are weak in cost accounting. So that's the week, that is April 24th, April 25th, okay? And by the way, on the last session, May 1, May 2, I will also do a strong highlight of the written communication questions on BEC, how to attack them, how to do well on them, sample questions, etc. Okay, any other questions? Okay, so if you have any more questions, I'm going to type in the chat my email address. It's Ron P, very simple, at Yaeger CPA Review.com. Okay, so if you have any questions, let me know. If you want to sign up for the March 20th session, please contact Sonny. And his email address is sonny@YaegerCPAReview.com. Okay, so you can sign up for that first session for free and see if this is something that you think will help you pass BEC. And again, our main goal is to help you pass this section of the exam before it changes at the end of June. And the timing we think is good because you can take it probably right after the May 1 session, take it after that. And God forbid you don't pass, you can also have enough time, hopefully, to take it again right before it changes on June 30th.
I have a quick question, Ron. This is
Sure.
Andrews.
Yes.
So, assuming because I've been studying obviously, and I'm planning to take the next test probably sooner than the videos that you guys gonna have or the presentations for audit, right? Assuming I pass within the next two months.
Yep.
Are you guys gonna have the same thing like BEC? Are you gonna be doing any teachings on the weekends?
Well, we just did it in January and February, and the videos are going to be available, to purchase if you want to study for that, because those sessions contain the materials being tested up till June 30th.
Okay.
After June 30th, we will probably start again on auditing and of course updating it for the changes in the blueprints. So after June 30th, we'll do it again. We're not going to have any additional auditing sessions between now and end of June.
So if I wanted to get, assuming once I'm done with BC, how would I be able to get access to that? Is that something I need to follow up
We
with?
are also going to record these live BEC sessions and post them on our website, and you can buy them there, the live videos, the recording of the live videos. And they'll be posted by content section, and you can just acquire, again, the videos that you're interested in acquiring.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Yep. All these videos are recorded and are going to be posted on our website for acquisition. And by the way, Phil's having live FAR review sessions just about every weekend too. So please check our website for those live FAR sessions. I think Phil covered today accounting for income taxes, and tomorrow he's covering governmental accounting. Okay, everybody. Well, we thank you for attending. We hope this was helpful to you. Phil